Hello. Today we're going to be repairing the seat switches on a 1988 Porsche 944. These switches were used in a lot of different cars of the era. These particular ones are two directions each. I think they were designed to also be used in four direction, and if they were configured that way from the factory. It's not a difficult task. It's pretty easy once you see how it's done. It saves a lot of money as far as having to buy new switches and new harnesses. The seats have to come out of the car for you to do this, and we'll be posting the seat removal in another video, but it's pretty straightforward getting these seats out. So sit back, relax, and give us a thumbs up if you like it. Thanks. So here's the underside of the driver's seat. Here are the pins that we're going to test over here so that we can fix the switches. We think that the switches here are giving us some issue. We've got problems with one of these directions, so we're going to test the leads with a bench tester. So we're going to take this plate off so we could slip the connector around and have better access to it. So we're taking these switches out here and we're going to test them. So for this switch here, we've got the power source connected to 8, which is positive, and 7, which is negative. So that'll give us the ability to raise and lower the seat while it's on the bench here. But this switch is a little iffy, so that's why we're going to rebuild it. Getting the switch to this stage is pretty obvious. These two screws really need to come out so that we can press these tabs and pull the switch forward through this plastic here. Now, you would think that the pins would pull out, but they don't. They're attached to the harness, which goes all the way back to the motors. So if you want to change this, you've got to buy a $112 harness. So with a little time and a little sandpaper, you can fix these switches pretty much to work like brand new. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so we're going to push these tabs down a little bit, just gently. You don't want to crack anything, and that'll get our switch through the housing. Now, to get the interior of the switch out, we have to press these little guys here. We got one here. You have to kind of be gentle here. This may not be the best tool for this, so if you have something better, you may want to use it. Got 2 on that side, and we've got 2 on this side. Now you get the interesting switch setup, which consists of ball bearings and springs, and we've got this little rod here. This little guy goes here, and the 2 ball bearings sit on top of these springs here, and these little guys engage with these little rocker switches here that activate the seat motor. One's one direction, one goes the other direction. So we're going to take these out now by opening up this. I've got one of these long needle nose here. So we're going to pry this open just a little bit, not too much, just a bit, to get these out. This one's a little tougher than the other one. Here's one. The other guy's on this side here. Just a little pressure. And you can kind of rock it out. Okay, now what we'll do here, we'll see these contacts get a little messed up. So we're going to sand them down with a little bit of, the only thing I have here is like 180 sandpaper. So we'll scuff them up a little bit. And then we'll fold up a piece and grab it with the pliers. I had a little piece here that I was using on the other side. So I folded it up like that. I mean, you can use a pencil with an eraser. Would be nice too. You glue the sandpaper to the eraser. And now we'll sand these guys down a little bit here, clean them up. And this one here. And that should be it. Then we can start reassembling things. Okay, so a couple of things here. We put a little grease on top of the springs to keep the ball bearings from falling off. And the other thing is you've got this part of the switch which is free floating, and putting it back together with that free floating makes it very difficult. So I took a couple of business cards and I folded them up and I put them between the button and the outside of the housing, so that kind of helps me use the bottom of the button to push up. Now before we do that, we have to put these little rockers back in. So let's see if we can do this while recording. Actually, I'd like to bend this up a little bit because it's pushed down, so I'd like to give it a little bit more of an angle. I don't know if I can grab it with these pliers at the moment. Might be enough room there to grab it, right? So I can grab it and just give it a little bend, just a little bit. And I'll do the same for this side here. This little cradle is where the ball bearing sits when it goes back together. Okay, so we're going to grab it from here. I'm going to try to slip it back in like that. Squeeze these guys together, make sure it rocks, make sure it doesn't come out. That's fine. Now we'll take this guy. Add in, squeeze it together, make sure it rocks okay. And I think that's, now we're ready to go back together. So this part of the switch housing is the top. It's got this little box on top of it. So this is the top. And we're going to try to just keep this down. I need to have enough slack to come out to the table with it. So I'm going to push this out a little bit more. So this goes like this. This takes a few times to do. Sometimes you lose the ball bearings. And sometimes you don't, but we'll check it now. So we'll put the power on. Feels pretty good to me. And all this stuff is self-explanatory. You pull these back in, the clips engage with this plastic housing over here, and you put your 2 screws in. And that's that. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. And if you liked it, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you again next time.